Let's go. Let's go. The first ever guest of PHL just happens to be one of our own, a fan of the channel, a guy that does it all, successful football player, successful media member. His name is Jay Hill. Jay Hilly, what's good, baby?
Man, look, I just want to say thanks everyone for showing up and tuning in to the Power Hour, but it's a pleasure. It's truly my pleasure. It's an honor to be here. I'm such a fan of the show, and I love what Carter's doing with everything, and I'm ready to roll, man. Let's get this thing rolling.
So first thing, I want to start off with something broad, and then we'll get into the specifics of what's going on with LSU football. But just right off the top, there's a lot of people that look up to you, man. You're definitely top 10 running back to ever play at this university. Now you're putting yourself out there every day doing the media thing. What inspires you? Because a lot of football players, whenever their career is over, they just feel sorry for themselves because they don't have football anymore. But you were telling me before we actually started this live stream that you said, look, I want to get into the media thing. I want to take my life to the next level. What inspired you to do that?
Yeah, I think for me, I think the inspiration came from within. I was on IR my last 2 years, my last year with the Bengals. It was my contract year, so I knew I had to play extremely well, play at a high level to kind of accomplish the things I wanted, especially after that year. We drafted Joe Mixon. We kind of see how that panned out. He's a really good running back. So I figured my talents would be, better fit elsewhere on another team. And I took that chance, and I took the chance with the New England Patriots. And when I took that chance, I got hurt in the first game of the season, tore my ACL, just ripped everything in my knee, tore a lot of ligaments, and it was just a really bad injury. And for me, it kind of set me back. That was the first time in my career that I really dealt with a serious injury. And before that, I was pretty healthy. Even the year before, I had a minor ankle injury. It took probably 2 months to recover from that injury. And I went to the Patriots kind of betting on myself, thinking, I got a year to play with Tom Brady, play with Gronk, play with some of the best players in football. And that would set me up to kind of do the things I wanted to do in my NFL career. And my NFL career kind of came to an end pretty abruptly, kind of without planning. You can't predict those things. It kind of just happened on the spot. And I got a lot of opportunities to watch a lot of media, watch a lot of TV, watch a lot of, First Take, Get Up, all those shows. And just watching all those shows, I kind of, say, hey, I could probably do some of this stuff because – I had the experience of doing it in years prior, just going to do NFL Network as a second-year player and going to Bristol and ESPN doing that as probably a third-year player. And I said, hey, this is probably something I could do. And Jacob Hester texted me. He was like, hey, man, you want to come on OTB? And I'm a huge fan of Jacob since I was a kid. And that kind of blew me away. I don't think people realize this, but even as NFL players, even as college players, I'm a fan of people just as much you guys as maybe a fan of me. So I was a huge fan of Hester. I remember being a recruit, being at that Florida game as a recruit in the stands, watching Les Miles go for it on fourth down over and over and over, and watching Hester, convert him over and over. And so I became a huge fan of Jacob Hester. And so for me, getting the opportunity to go on OTB with him was a big opportunity for me. I was so pumped and excited to go in there with T-Bob, and I loved it. And I loved the opportunity that it gave to me. And I said, hey, this is something I can do. And I just kind of dug my heels in and said, whatever I have to do, this is the avenue that I want to go. And I know for a lot of players who finish playing in the NFL, they don't know what they want to do. All they've known is football. All they've played is football from 8 years old, like myself. And it's really tough for some of these guys after they're done. So for me, I got that opportunity from Jacob. I was in the studio as much as I could be there, every time I can be there. And I got the opportunity to have my own radio show at the young age of 29 years old. And I'm honored and blessed to do that every day on Hutton Hill for ESPN 104.5. So I'm honored. It's a pleasure. I love what I'm doing, and I just want to keep growing and building myself and reaching out and networking with people like yourself, Carter.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Shout out to Gordy and all the crew over there, man. It was a tough lineup, man. There's a lot of really talented people. A lot of people don't know this, but Jimmy Ott gave me my first opportunity. I interned for the Otter way back when. So there's a lot of there's not many local stations that do it as well as they do. And as far as you're concerned. I mean, look, I want to talk something kind of current because you did do something today on the show, and it made a lot of people laugh. Elias Durant.
Yeah, I got it in the chat right here. I got it in the Power Hour chat right now. I had to throw it in there.
Oh my goodness. And here's the thing, okay? It's one thing for me to say like Elias Rick shouldn't have done that or whatever, but it's different when you actually played and you call out another player. It's different. A lot of people don't know it. It's different because, you've been in that spot, and look, players have to do what they feel is best for them. So I really appreciate about that, Jeremy, because T-Bob does this as well. You're really honest whenever you're on the air, which is something that I really do appreciate when I listen to you. Did anything go through your mind when you said that, Elias Durant, or whenever you're honest about something like that?
Yeah, I think my co-host Hunt Palmer, he gave the kind of the opposite approach or the opposite take of that, and it's that a lot of these kids, they're not from Louisiana, they're not from the South. They haven't been involved in these kind of deep rivalries that kind of have happened over the years, and just being involved with it year in and year out, just kind of watching. I think Alabama kind of kick our butt and have their way with us, and for me, I kind of thought of it as, for myself as a player, in 2012, I think a lot of Tiger fans remember TJ Yeldon scoring that touchdown into the section. It's just a brutal memory to have in your brain that I can't get over. Just an opportunity to win a national championship after you just kind of got embarrassed in the national championship the year before. For me, I just thought of it as, what I see, Eric Reed, going to Alabama, or what I see, Tre'Davious White kind of transferring to Alabama and becoming a tighter, a role tighter. It's just some of that stuff. It just, for me, like, I couldn't see it. So for me, seeing a kid that went to LSU and had some success here, I'm not saying he's, probably, the best quarterback in the country or anything like that, but he's a really good player and really could have, really had a lot of opportunities to really, play at a high level at LSU. One of those guys just going to Alabama and joining the dark side, as I say, because as much as they've kind of had their way with this, it's still a rivalry. It's still, people don't like Alabama. They don't like what they have to bring to college football. And for me, as a kid that's from Baton Rouge, it just didn't sit well with me, man. Like, you're fighting with the Tigers. You're going to meetings with us. You're trying to beat Alabama. I don't know. To me, it just had a little KD to it. Had a little KD realm. Had a little KD feel. Like, you wanna, you can't beat them, join them attitude to it. And for me, that's just kind of just a antithesis of what I am as a player and what I am as a kid from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that went to go fight for the Fighting Tigers. It doesn't sit well with me, but I do, honestly, I kind of understand it as it kind of went on for me. Being a kid from California, not being around here, not kind of, growing up watching those rivalries from LSU and Alabama, it probably doesn't mean as much to him as it does for a lot of the kids that are from the state. So I understand it. I get it. Nick probably had a great offer, some great NIL, I should say, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Marks. So, I mean, he's going to do his thing. But for me, he's still Elias Durant. Is what
Elias. So, Jeremy, take us behind the scenes here, right? So you played at LSU. You played at the next level. Let's go back to your time at LSU. What is something about you as a player that you would like people to know that don't know what you guys go through as a player, if that makes sense? Take us behind the scenes of what you go through and how difficult it is to be a player at a high-profile university.
Yeah, I'll go off that rip. I'll go to my first week on campus. Your schedule is nothing like the other students on campus. Normally, if you're a student, let's say you're taking 12 hours, maybe 15 hours on campus, you got your schedule planned out. You maybe have one class on Monday, maybe two classes on Tuesday, and you got probably three, maybe max, 4 hours on campus a day. For us, we're waking up early. There's Les Miles has something instituted. It's called the Breakfast Club, and that's, you're waking up at 6:30 a.m. to be at the Cox Communication Center at 7 a.m. And you're doing that every day from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. before your classes even start. So you're getting in there early in the morning, doing that study hall for an hour. and then you got your classes. You aren't allowed to take classes past 12:30. So
What?
everything you got to do, yes, everything you got to do is you got to cram that in. Whether it's your major, if you're majoring in something, if you're minoring in something, whatever it is, if those classes are after 12:30 or after 1 o'clock, it's a no go. So you're already boxed in that regard. So for us, we got to get in study hall in the morning, then we got to finish all of our classes in the morning as well, and then you have to find time between your classes to go deal with Tommy Moffitt. I know he's not part of the LSU staff anymore. Love Tommy Moffitt.
Yeah.
I'll always be a Tommy Moffitt guy, but you got to find an hour to find in that workout with Tommy Moffitt between your classes. So I don't care if you miss lunch. I don't care. Like my man Moffitt said, my favorite Moffitt quote of all time. This is a great Moffitt quote.
Yeah.
I don't care if that train, because I don't know if anyone's familiar with Baton Rouge, but there's a train track that separates Nicholson from the football facility, and so between that train track, there's a train coming through there. But Tommy Moffitt said, I don't care if you have to drag your mutilated body across that train track, you better get to this workout on time. And so that kind of was just instilled in our head that, you're not going to be late for anything. You got to do what you got to do and be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. So for us, we had to go to do our study hall, get our classes in, get our workouts in. And that's not even starting with football. And then you got to go in football practice, getting there, doing your film study, doing practice, doing all that stuff, taking care of your body, which is a lot of people sleep on. It's a very physical, grinding sport. So you got to take care of your body. So you got to spend time with your body. But hey, guess what? You're not done. Now you got tutoring sessions at nighttime.
What?
So you finish that. You finish with practice. And then now you got your tutoring session, the great Les Miles. I love Les Miles. You miss tutoring sessions, you're getting fined. They make you pay money out of your pocket. Yes.
No, that's not true. That's got to be against some.
Listen, it is against team policy, team rules. If you miss tutoring, so you're only getting, this is back in the, I don't know how they're doing it now, but you're probably getting like $250 a month. Like you're getting that max like $300 a month. Like that's the cash that you got legally. That's not saying you're doing other stuff. I don't know nothing about that stuff, but if you're doing everything legally above board, all you're getting is $250 a month with that schedule that you have. So let's say you missed two tutoring sessions that month. Guess what? Now your check's like $100. Like
what?
Yes.
No,
100. Yeah, so that's all you have to pay. That's all you have to deal with for the whole month. You better make that $100 stretch out, or you're waiting until the next month. So for us, we're waking up early, doing study hall. We're going to class. We're trying to figure out a way to get our workout in between our classes. We're going to practice. After practice, we're going to tutoring. We're going to our study sessions. And guess what? Got to wake up and do it the next day. So I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for these college athletes. It's a lot better now than it was when I was playing, because they have NIL now. Now they have unlimited swipes. Guess what? You only get 2 times to eat a day. You get 2 swipes. Now they get a little more leeway with that, but you don't get breakfast. Breakfast is off the table. There's no bagels. It's an NCAA violation if you put a bagel with cream cheese on it. That's too much. You can have a bagel or you can have the cream cheese, but if you put those two together, it's an NCAA. Breakfast is off the table. So for us, we have to find a way to get our own breakfast, go to study hall, go to class, find a way to get our workout in, go to tutoring after. It's just a full day's work. And for us, I guess that's why the rules changed and why they're so loose now, is because it was so like stingent back then. Like you really, like we were making so much money for the university. I walk out, I see 33 jerseys, I see 7 jerseys, I see 10 jerseys, I see Odell Beckham. You're not making a penny from that stuff. So you got to have your schedule, and then you have to, figure out a way to do everything in between it, and then try to have a social life if you want to have that. So I get it. So for me, I want to let the people know out there, like when you guys are bashing on these college kids, he sucks or whatever, there's a lot that's on these kids' plates. They got their families depending on them. A lot of some of their friends and everything else are depending on them. And it's a lot on their plate. So a lot of college kids, they just go to class, they go to sleep and go home and do their thing. But for these college athletes, there's so much more that's on their plate.
So you're obviously very pro NIL, and I'm sure there's a piece of you that's really happy that, players are starting to get, able to make money off their name, image, and likeness.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely pro NIL. I think for me, I never thought it would go to the extent of this. I guess if I was a Texas 8-4 guy, or maybe a Longhorn down guy, I would love it. Like, yeah, let's keep just throwing the money out. I haven't seen LSU do it yet. I know we got some tricks up our sleeves, but I haven't seen it yet to the extent of some of these other schools. But I love what NIL does for these college kids because a lot of them, they're going and putting their body on the lines. I can count and tell you a bunch of guys that, got their bodies ripped and torn apart. I think for me, Alex Hurst, was our left guard, got hurt in the Florida game, never played again in college football, and he was projected to be a second-round draft pick. And I could go on and on to all these kids who played college downs, played college football, and the fruition of I was blessed to be an NFL player, but a lot of these guys, they don't get to go to the NFL. And a lot of them, they don't even get a college degree. So they don't get the effects of NIL and all the other stuff that kids have. So for me, I'm always going to be a supporter of that. I didn't think it would be to the extent that it is now. We got kids going to Jackson State now. It's just, I would have never predicted these things, but it is what it is. It's the landscape of college football. And if it helps you, some of these kids, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, Siren Black is someone that I think of immediately. I mean, he gave us 4 good years, and his body was not NFL ready. And I used to do some radio stuff with Siren, and, he just put, we wouldn't have won a title without that guy. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. For you, Jeremy, when you get to campus, you shared the story. I did not know this on 104.5. You get there, you sit out all of 2011, and you're playing wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, that's actually the latter part of it. That's not actually what happened. So that actually happened once the 2012 season started. I actually was playing fullback before that. I'll tell you this is why I'll always be a Tommy Moffitt guy through and through. So I had to sit out football for probably like 5 or 6 months till I got my academics in order, and then I cleared the clearinghouse and I was able to go to school. But during that time, I had probably gained like 20 pounds from the last time I played a football game, which was probably the year before in November in the playoffs against Patterson. Shout out my boy Kenny Hilliard. Beat us in the playoffs, but no ceilings all day. Shout out my boy Kenny Hilliard, but yeah, they beat us in the playoffs, and that was the last football game I played in. So I had gained like 20 pounds. I came into LSU probably like 245 pounds, almost 250 pounds. And Frank Wilson was not very happy with that. He was like, you know what? You're not going to get carries being that big. You're going to play fullback.
Wow.
So I was lining up at fullback that whole spring. I played probably 80, almost 90% fullback. Me, J.C. Copeland playing the fullback position. And I was going in there trying to block Kevin Minter, trying to block Amin Barrow and some of these guys that we had at linebacker. And it was just not a pleasant experience. But shout out my boy Tommy Moffitt. He had the Fat Club, which is another thing that I say on top of what we have to do as college athletes. 6 a.m., you're doing cardio every morning, Monday through Friday. So 6 a.m., I'm getting up every day doing cardio with Tommy Moffitt every day just to shut the weight off. So my first like 6 months on campus was brutal, man. I was waking up early as heck every day, like 5 something in the morning, going work out with Tommy Moffitt, doing breakfast club after that, then doing all my classes, doing my workouts, going to the football facility after. And it was a whirlwind, but I needed all that. It kind of let me become the man that I am today and just really assessing who you are, what you have to do on a day-to-day to become what you want to be. So I understood that, and I understood if I wanted to play for LSU, I would have to get my butt in shape and do all these things, and that's what I did. So that wasn't my first position. I played fullback first, and then I kind of worked my way to running back after that. So it's a whirlwind, man, but I enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, I give you a lot of credit for this, and this is going to tie in with Rod. We're going to get to Roby's question a little bit later as far as the Cincinnati Bengals. Rod's got the national championship photo. I love the background here, Rod, looking fresh, man, on cloud 9. Let's go. What's interesting? So Rod asked here, as a Louisiana native, how would you feel today if you had chosen to go to an out-of-state college? And do you think kids miss out when they go out of state?
Look, I'll tell you now, man. I was this close. I'll tell the story. I actually decommitted from LSU. I remember like yesterday. It was December 7th, 2010. Go on my Rivals page. It's all on there. I wasn't going to go to LSU. I had my attentions elsewhere. There were a lot of running backs, Kenny Hilliard, all these other guys. And I was like, you know what? I could probably play a lot faster if I went somewhere else. And I could really, become come in as a freshman and start playing. And so for me, I was looking elsewhere. Auburn was buzzing at the time. I got a chance to go on an official visit there when Cam Newton was there. Met Cam, hung out with him, and got to go to Alabama and meet all those guys. And my man, funny how college football goes full circle. Lane Kiffin and my boy Coach O, they were at USC. They sent me that offer. And for me, that was the offer I was waiting on since I was probably, 10, 11 years old, because I was the biggest Reggie Bush fan. Biggest Reggie Bush fan you can find on this side of the Mississippi River. I love me some Reggie Bush, and I just love me some USC, and I got that offer from them. Lael Collins, my teammate in high school, he actually got the offer before me, and I was just so jealous. I was like, dude, how'd you get that USC offer, man? I wanted that offer for the longest. And so I was getting heavily recruited by them, so LSU wasn't even in my picture. So for me, when I kind of made that decision, like, I want to stay home, I want to fight for my state. I want to, have my family come to my home games and all that stuff. That was a decision for me. But I also do understand all the other kids that kind of want to branch out and go elsewhere, because I know a lot of kids who are from the Baton Rouge, and that's all they know. They never left the city of Baton Rouge. They never got a chance to go on vacation. My first chance getting on an airplane was actually to go on an official visit. So
wow,
I understand all these things that these kids go through. So I get it on both sides. If that's something you want to do, you want to go, outside of your state, I totally respect that, and I understand that that's what you feel is best for you and your family. But for me, I thought it would be best to stay in my state, stay in my hometown, let my family come to home games, be an opportunity to be close by, and do all those things. So I don't know if they miss out on anything, but I would say each kid has to do what's best for them and their family.
Yeah, and a follow up on that, when the transfer portal rule came in, you went through a lot of adversity. I mean, you could have packed your bags and said, "Look, I need a fresh start somewhere else." The portal just changed everything now. That's just so crazy to me, like how big that one rule just changes everything. Because when you were sitting the bench and then you're at fullback and you're like, God, I could have been Lindell White, Reggie Bush in a completely different time zone, could have lived in LA on another school's dime. It's just amazing how much that one rule just changes the whole game.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I said that today on the show. It's kids don't have to fight. I remember a guy, I mean, a lot of people may forget him, but I remember him because it was my teammate, it was my brother. I went to battle with him every day at practice, weight room, all that stuff. Is Jared Fobbs. He was a 4-star running back from the state of Louisiana, and he had no chance of leaving. He, like, Coach Miles wouldn't let him leave. It's just,
what?
If you did want to leave, yeah, that's how it was back then. If you wanted to go to a Division I program, you had to get permission from the head coach. And if the head coach gave you that permission, you could go to that school, but you have to sit out a year. If you want to go D2 or whatever, go to a JUCO and all that stuff, that's fine. You can do that. But as far as going to another D1 program and playing that next year, I think the only guy I can think of is my boy from Oregon, my boy Jeremiah Masoli. He went to Ole Miss, but you have to be a graduate to do that. So a lot of these kids, they aren't college graduates. They got a lot of football ahead of them. They got a lot of class ahead of them. So you can't just up and leave, which is exactly what's opened the door now. If you don't like your situation, if you don't like the coach, whatever the situation may be, you can just leave and go to another D1 program. It's kind of just open free agency. It's the Wild Wild West, if you ask me, because there's no contracts you got to sign. There's no salary cap. It's just so wide open. So I don't know if it's good or bad. I think time will tell that. But for me, I think it is a great opportunity for these kids to have more leeway, which is exactly what these coaches have. These coaches can come into a program, coach for 2 years, and talk to all these recruits in their house with their family members and all that stuff, and then leave. So for me, I never had to go through that. I remember vividly yesterday when Coach O came into my grandmother's living room. He had the USC gear on, and I felt like I was in a dream, because I was like, for me, that was a dream for me, because I was such a USC head. Like, I loved me some Reggie Bush back then.
Yeah.
To see that SC just walking in my living room and watching the Bond side and seeing Coach O on the movies and everything like that, it was surreal for me. So I get it. I get why some of these kids, they want to go fight for their coach. They want to go play for certain coaches. So for me, it's going to be hard pressed for me to really have, something bad to say unless you're Elias Durant and you're a traitor and you're a snake and you want to sing. No, I'm just kidding. But for the most part, I'm all supporting for the kids.
So this is something I've always wanted to ask you, right? So like Fournette and Geis and those guys got carries like right when they got there. So it was easier for them to see their path to greatness, right? Even Clyde was able to, get carries. Were you scared when when you're getting ready to play and they move you to fullback and now you're at receiver and this is the most impressive thing about you is the South Carolina game came, right? And we had lost Hurst and then Jurassic was having to step in. And I shared this on your show just randomly, like how impressive this was because I was on the field for this game. And I just remember seeing Clowney run out and they had just a beast defensive line. And you had to stay focused. You had to break out. You had to seize that opportunity because there was 4 running backs that were ahead of you on your depth chart. So for that year and a half, you were from Redemptorist. Your teammate Lyle Collins is starting and playing a lot. Was there a piece in your mind saying I'm not cut out for this? Because everything that you went through, all the adversity, all the outside noise, was there a piece of you that says maybe I'm not cut out for this? Maybe I shouldn't have gone here. Maybe I should have gone to USC. Were you scared? Did that ever get in your mind?
So I'll bring you some deep insider. This is some insider trading if I ever heard it, because this I don't think this stuff has ever been reported. So I'll give it to the Power Hour. Why not? Give it to the people, man. Give the people the inside news. So actually, I think it was I think we were playing Idaho, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Idaho. So week before that, I got called to Coach Miles' office, and it was a redshirt conversation. And he was like, Alfred Blue was having an amazing season. I think he was on pace. Like, dude, Alfred, before he tore his ACL, he was a different cat, man. That dude was a beast. He was scoring long touchdowns. So as a running back, I love the long touchdowns. Take the long ball. You got to be able to score the long ball. So if you can't score the long ball, I don't know if I'm going to like you that much. So Alfred, he had that box checked. He was scoring the long ball. So he was having an incredible year. So Coach Miles called me to the office. He was like, Jeremy, look, we're thinking about redshirting you. We don't know if we can use you this season. Alfred's having an amazing year. And I looked at Frank Grossly because he was sitting next to me. I said, no, I don't want to get redshirted. I think I can help this team. I was 6 on the depth chart at the time. We had Alfred Blue. We had Michael Ford. We had Kenny Hilliard. We had Terrence McGee.
Yeah.
And all those guys were playing snaps in front of me. So I was like, you know what? I still believe in myself. I bet on myself. I said, you know what? No, I don't want to get redshirted. Please don't redshirt me. Let's figure this thing out. And the next week is when I actually got moved to receiver, which is what you heard on Hutton Hill. I got moved to receiver that next week. And then that's when Alfred actually got hurt. Wow. And once Alfred got hurt, it opened the door for me to actually get an opportunity to play. So for me, I never gave up on myself. I could have took the red shirt and said, you know what, I'm done. Just got to, help the practice guys out. I kept believing myself, kept coming to practice every day, kept coming to the Moffitt workouts, trying to get something out of it. And it came into fruition. That's when that South Carolina game came, the Idaho game came, and that's what became of Jeremy Hill.
So I didn't know that, right? Because I've always thought about that. It wasn't guaranteed, right? And the 2011 thing happened. You didn't get to be a part of it. And 2012's happening. We're rolling. As you said, Alfred Blue, who was also, ironically, probably the best special teams tackler I think I've ever seen. Dude, I really do believe this, okay, outside the box. Shout out to Robert with the very generous super chat. James, Black Goatee, we're going to get to all your questions. Trey with the very generous super chat. Thank you so much. This always made me think. I thought Alfred Blue could have been like the greatest NFL linebacker of all time because he could just, dude, he decapitated people. Is my mind blurry about that?
No, dude. Alfred was, dude. I don't know if you've been a chance to stand next to Alfred. I think I'm a big running back. Alfred's like 6'3", 225, 230. Like, he's a big dude. He's not a small dude at all from any means, but The dude could play, man. I just know he would be definitely, and he had some success in the NFL. But I think if
Right.
he never tears that ACL, he's really probably a guy you'd still be hearing about.
Absolutely. So you break out, right? And then you have the 2012 season. Whenever that South Carolina game happened, did let's say you're the guy now, or did you just have to seize it? What happened after that?
No, it never was like that. So I think for me, that's what kept me so humble. It never was, hey, you're the guy, you're our bell cow, we're feeding you. It's like I felt like I was fighting for my carries every week. I felt like I had to earn everything that I got. It never was something where, if you're watching Alabama, Najee Harris 22 is going to be the pack every game. There's not going to be another guy starting. It's just what it is. So
Right.
for me, I never felt that way. I never felt like it was my job. It was my show. Like I was at Redemption's High School, and I know that I was getting the carries. The game plan was around me. Everything was around me. I felt like I had to fight for everything because there's still so many talented backs in that room, and that's just what it was for me. So I don't know if I started the rest of it. I may have started. I can't remember or not. But for me, it was still a fight every day. Fight for what I deserve. Fight for what I got. And that's kind of I hope people saw with my running style, especially at the college level.
Yeah, and I want that to be said. Now, once again, that's not me taking away from guys Fournette or any of those guys, but you really had to earn it. Like you had to seize it. When those guys stepped on campus, they kind of just became the guy because they were transcendent, and you were too. You just had to break away. And I go back to the South Carolina run, and I remember I couldn't imagine what you were feeling because Lyle was like 30 yards down the field. And dude, this is you're living the dream. Like this is going to hopefully be Jack Bash and Walker Howard, high school teammates in Tiger Stadium. What was going through your mind when you see Lyle, number 70, your guide redemptorist, 5-star recruit, and you worked and you worked. You just kept chopping wood for you to get that opportunity, and you break away for that run. What's going through your mind? What is it like to be with all these screaming fans yelling when the ball is in your hands like that? What's that like?
There's no feeling like it. There's no better feeling in the world. It's euphoria if you've ever seen it or heard of it or look it up. For me, I remember, I know a lot of Tiger fans aren't going to like to hear this, but that was a toss dive, a Les Miles special, a little toss dive, right? That's exactly what that was. Just, we're trying to run the clock in the fourth quarter. We had a little lead. We forced it upon my boy Sam Montgomery, my roommate in college. Got the big sack on Connor Shaw, and then they punted the ball back to us. I remember this whole sequence like yesterday. My boy Brad Nessler on the call, my boy Kirk Herbstreit on the call.
Interesting.
And we're running a little toss dive right, which is just, you're pulling your left guard and quarterback tosses you the ball and you got to read the A gap. And L didn't see anything in the A gap. He pulled it around and I actually bumped into somebody and I almost fell down actually in that play.
Right.
And I see Clowney kind of to my left and then I just see open green grass in front of me. And there was nothing stopping me from getting to the end zone once I had all that space in front of me and made a little move on the safety. And I was on the second level. And then I just remember dropping the ball down. And once I dropped the ball down, I still remember this like yesterday. Couldn't hear us. It was so loud I couldn't hear anything.
Wow.
It was just deafening. It was deafening. That's how loud it was. Deafening noise. And if you watch the replay, if you get a chance, I'm like doing this. Like I'm telling the crowd to calm down and keep it down because it was just so loud at that time. And I think for us, that win was so important that it was, I think, South Carolina coming in, number 3 team in the country.
Right.
Buzzing, got my boy, Spurrier with the, with the visors, slamming on the ground and everything. For us, I don't know if everyone, I think I told this story on Hunting Hill, but they came and got on the eye pregame. DJ Swain, a lot of their guys, and they were talking a lot of noise, and they kind of riled us up, man. I still remember this like yesterday. Tommy Moffitt, he was not happy about that. He was throwing helmets through the he was throwing helmets through the wall in the locker room.
What?
We were, dude.
Wait, like it left a hole?
Yeah, left the hole, dude. We were fired up because they were coming in our town. They were coming into they're coming into Tiger Stadium, and I think that's when Coach Miles said the infamous "That's where our opponent's dreams come to die." I think it was that game, and I still remember that yesterday. But just breaking to that second level, scoring that touchdown, with everything that I had been through, just fighting my way to get on the lineup, fighting my way, not getting redshirted, playing receiver, doing all these things, and getting an opportunity to really, come to LSU. What I came to LSU for, be a big time running back in the SEC, getting that opportunity and really showing that on the national level. It was a great opportunity, and the Tiger fans, Tiger Nation, which is why I'm so endeared to them. They came up, they showed out, giving us that home field advantage, and really just making that atmosphere just second to none. So I'm truly appreciative of that.
Yeah, and once again, I was on the field. That was the first time I think I was on the field doing a camera stuff. I was a cameraman on the sideline, and once again, I just can't get over Jurassic blocking Clowney on like 5 days notice. I would have crapped my pants. I really would have, knowing that I was going up against, like, Clowney was the guy. Like, I think people forget, like, he was like SEC match. He was movement. Yeah, and the fact that we were able to win that game. And Black OT wanted to ask you about the Clemson Bowl game, which was very fascinating. And Black OT told me this. He said, Carter, I wasn't happy. We should have just kept feeding Jay Hill. What do you I mean, do you agree with him? What do you remember about that game?
Started on the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Look, I'm glad Frank Wilson is on staff, because, look, I'm going to drive my little butt right to the football ops and ask him this question. This is a question, look, I got all the inside stuff, a lot of good inside stuff, but this one I don't know the answer to. I did not get one carry in the fourth quarter against Clemson. Mr. Venables, look, I love this video of Venables. I think I scored like right out of the second half. I think I may have had like a 50-yard touchdown or something like that. And he was just pissed off. He was so mad. If you watch the TV copy, he was so upset that I scored that touchdown. I was like, yes, yeah. Let's get the other DC mad. Let's get him pissed. Yeah, here we go. Now we're cooking. And then I didn't get a carry in the fourth quarter. 3 and out, stall. And then my boy, Deion, this is when we found out the birth of DeAndre Hopkins, the birth of my boy Nuke, because he nuked us that day.
Yeah, he's a beast.
4th and 17. I was like, because everyone was just so hyped up on Sammy Watkins, Sammy's a 5-star, Sammy. And then we did like the little pregame banquet or whatever, and LSU, we showed our highlights, and then Clemson showed their highlights. All their highlights with DeAndre Hopkins. We were like, who the heck is that dude? Like, we found out in the Chick-fil-A Bowl who DeAndre Hopkins was, and we're still seeing that to this day, but didn't get a carry in the fourth quarter. That's one thing. I'm not a selfish player. I love my team. I love my guys. Love winning. But we got to get the point. Look, I think I had 12 for like 120 or something, 2 touchdowns. That's a great day in fantasy, if you ask me. What are we doing?
So this is what I wanted to ask you. All right, you're a bigger back. And, as far as Fournette's home run ability, we knew about his speed. But at the NFL Combine, you ran 4.66, right, which is a good time. But I don't think, like, normally home run hitting backs are 4.3, 4.4 guys. So my question to you is, when you hit home runs, when you actually take it to the house, is there a certain type of skill, or is it just speed? Or do you just go beast mode? Do you feel yourself running faster? What? Because I don't know how you did it, but you always finished the 50 and 60-yard runs. We see running backs all the time eventually get sucked up. How did you do it?
I think for me, I've always been a top end guy. So you look at, the top speed that you get to. And I got to see these numbers once I actually got to NFL. I'm terrible because I'm a bigger guy. So I'm terrible at acceleration. Like some of the quicker guys, you watch a Tyreek Hill, you kind of watch, Odell Beckham, 5 to 10 yards. They're really explosive, really fast. I'm a build-up guy. Once I get to my top end speed, I'm pretty fast. And I'm getting to 21, almost 22 miles per hour in full pads. So that lets me know, like, once I get to my top gear, I'm with the best of them. So for me, it takes a while for me to get to that top gear. Like, I gotta get a little running head start. But for me, once I got to my, top end speed, I felt like there was no one catching me. And that's kind of what we joked about in the LSU, running back room and the film room. Like, if you got caught, you're getting bashed. You're getting, they're riding you. They're crushing. Like, let me get that carry. I'll finish it. Like, I'm not going to screw that up. Like, give me that big hole. Like, I'll finish that touchdown. So for me, That's kind of something that kind of plagued me a little bit. I wouldn't say plague, that's probably a too aggressive word, but to me, that was kind of what was separating me in high school from becoming, a 4-star, so a 5-star, is that on some of those runs I was getting caught. And that's what kind of drove me in high school when I was going from my junior year to my senior year, because I only had, I think, 26 touchdowns my junior year in high school. And that just drove me nuts, because I'm looking like, because look, me and Kenny are so close. We're brothers, we're dog, we're ride or die. But there's a beef between me and Kenny. I wouldn't say real beef, but just a competitive fire beef between like who was the actual best running back in the state coming out. And we got an opportunity to play them on ESPN the first game of the year. And for me, that was my opportunity to show the world, like, I'm that guy. It's me. I'm the guy. I'm the best running back in the state. I don't know who this Kenny Hilliard guy is, but I'm the guy. So for me, like, I had to do stuff to get better. And for me, that's when I started speeching. I started doing all these things. But I made the leap from 26 touchdowns to 40 touchdowns. If you watch my senior highlight tape, it's a lot of long, stick the long ball, baby. Long ball. So I'm trying to score the long ones. I'm trying to score the long ones. So for me, that's kind of what I kind of prided myself on. And for me, like, as a guy who did have, like you said, the 4.6 to come out, I do in my back pocket. I can pull it out. 85-yard touchdown in the NFL. I do have that under my belt. So for me, all that stuff matters. So you get doubted. People, try to, pick out the little stuff that you can't do well, whatever. And every player has it. You can say, Tom Brady can't run a 4.3 or whatever you want to say. But for me, that was something that I knew that would make me, one of the premier backs, is that you got to score the long ball. And that's kind of what I tried to do my whole career.
Well, shout out our guy, King Robert, and he's fighting the evil sea, man. We're with you, King Robert. Jay Hill's always in the chat. He knows all about King Robert. So shout out to King Robert. I wouldn't be able to do this full time if it wasn't for him. Got a really good super chat here from Cliff, but Jay Hill and I actually teamed up to do something for Jay Hill's favorite viewer.
Oh, wait, look, you know what? Divine timing. Look what I just put in the chat.
What?
Look, before you even say it. Look, we on the same page.
Okay, look. So let's talk about the Master Blaster. Okay, Tony Bryant, who just dropped a $60 super chat. Thank you so much. So Tony, Jeremy, and I teamed up, and we're gonna hook you up with this autograph card right here, because Jeremy loves the Master Blaster. So I think Jay Hill, texted me this. He's like, I'm going to be very disappointed if the Master Blaster isn't in here. So Tony, here you go. This is going to you. I know. And Tony actually is a big Jeremy Hill fan. This is going to you, man. This autograph card out of 150. There's only 150 of these made in the world, Tony, and it's going to you. So shout out to Tony. Supporting the channel. I do want to ask you this, Jay Hill, because the game has changed so much. Cliff is a big X's and O's guy, and he listens to your show every day. And let's first ask about pass protection. It's such a difficult thing, especially for a young back to know how to do, because you in high school you don't really have to do it. What is the biggest obstacle to being a good pass protector?
I think mentality for me. Mentality. I think for me, that's what separated me from when I was okay at pass protection to where when I got to New England, I was like 5 years into my NFL career, I felt like there's no linebacker in the NFL that can get to the quarterback, especially when Tom Brady's back there. I just felt that way. And I wish I could find the film from when I was in New England, but I felt like it took a while. But I finally got there to where I understood the technique. I understood everything about it, to where I felt like there's no one that can get past me. If you decide to blitz, you should go slap your defensive coordinator, because that was a dumb idea, because you should never blitz against me when I'm in the game. And that's just go back to the mentality you have to have, because we can talk about technique, and talk about all this stuff. Only thing it boils down to, you're a grown man trying to stop another grown man from getting to the quarterback. And once you kind of realize that, you don't let guys get past you. So you can drill the technique, all this stuff. But for me, I was like, dude, there's Tom Brady back there. You're not getting him. I know my livelihood depends on that. I know this team's livelihood depends on that. And if you don't get back there, then he's probably gonna throw the ball to somebody, and we're probably gonna be converting here. So, I think for me, my pass protection took a huge leap when I developed that mentality that, dude, nobody's gonna get back. I don't care how I do. I don't care if I cut him to the ground. I don't care if I knock him off. I don't care if I do anything. I'm gonna figure out a way to stop this man from getting to my quarterback. And I think for me, once I kind of realized that, my pass protection took a leap, but it's a lot more than that. There's a lot more that goes into it. You got to have technique. You got to, keep your feet underneath. You got to be explosive. You got to shoot your hands. You got to keep your hands inside. You got to refit your hands, which is something that a lot of running backs don't do. And you got to anchor down. And I think if you can do all those things, then pass protection should be a no bueno for you. But I know for running backs, for me, I was blessed because I was a big running back. So a lot of the guys I was blocking were either my size or slightly bigger than me. I have a ton of credit for the smaller running backs, like the Giovanni Bernards or the Darren Sproles or the James Whites of the world, who are guys who are 5'6", 5'7", under 200 pounds, and they're stopping these 200 plus pound linebackers from getting to the quarterback. So for me, my job was a lot easier than theirs, but it's still a daunting task because guys like Devin White, they want to get to that quarterback, and they're not happy when they get there.
Yeah, so shout out to Van. I'm really excited. Van Lathan will be our next guest on Thursday, and if anyone knows how to do an interview, it's Van Lathan. So it's going to be interesting that I'm going to be interviewing one of the best interviewers on the planet. So Van, I can't wait to have Van on here next Thursday. It's going to be a tough act to follow, Jay Hill. People are really enjoying a lot of this insight scoops, whatever you want to call it. This is a big question, and I know Van would kill me, and Van's become a really good friend of mine as well. If I didn't ask this question about Jeremy Hill, what was it like to play with Tom Brady? Was there an aura around it? Did you feel anything different?
Dude, talk about an aura. When you're just driving up to go to work, you're driving up to go to practice, guess what? You don't see, McDonald's, Burger King. You see the TB12 center, his own indoor facility. Dude has his own freaking practice facility next to our practice facility. Not only that, you walk into the locker room, dude has like this big king chair. Like we all have our little, locker room chairs. He has like this big, larger than life, like king chair in front of his locker.
What?
Not only that, I'm not done yet. Dude doesn't shower or bathe with us. Like, he shower with the guys. So he has his own bathroom. He doesn't fool with that stuff. He doesn't go in the training room and, get treatment from all the trainers. Like, he has his own trainer. I'm sure everyone heard of Alex Guerrero.
Yeah.
He does his own thing. So it's like, if you don't know, look about Tom, it's your first time. Like, you're like, whoa. Like, this is different. But that's the shocking part. Then you meet the actual man and you realize he's just one of the boys. He's one of the players. I got a chance to play with Andy Dalton for 4 years. Never been to Andy's house. Don't know what it's like. Never been there. On a team with Tom Brady for 2 months, invited me to his house, meet with Giselle, the kids, all that stuff. And it's different. And I tell people all the time, I got hurt the first game of the year playing in Houston, Texas, tore my ACL that game. So I was doing rehab the rest of the season. Tom talked to me every chance he got. I see him in the hallway. Jeremy, how you doing? How's the rehab going? You got to do this and that to get your ACL back because he had the same injury. And I'm like, dude, I can't help this team at all. But this guy is, trying to talk to me, trying to, be nice, really, be cool with me. Like it blew me away. And it's funny how life comes full circle. I did not like the Patriots at all. I was a huge Marshall Faulk fan because he's from New Orleans. I wanted to see my boy Marshall Faulk. I was a Rams. I still remember this chanting. My boy said, the Rams. He'd be repping the Rams because we wanted them to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. He beat my boy Marshall Faulk. I should have told him that. Like, dude, you beat my boy Marshall Faulk. What are we doing? But I'm teammates with this guy. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, how life just happens sometimes. It's just unbelievable. But I'll tell you now, like, Tom was a great dude. I think for me, the man that he was, like, people ask all the time, like, was he like, is he really like, from my perspective and from what I experienced from him, he was a great dude, super nice teammate to have, and just obviously the best quarterback to ever pick him up. So yeah, Tom's all of that.
So you're doing media now. Do we see a coach Jeremy Hill down the road?
So people ask me this all the time.
Right.
Do it. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to do it, but I will tell you, we did like this little Secret Santa thing or whatever when I was in college at LSU, and my person that I had was Frank Wilson, and his present for
Oh,
me was actually a hat, and on the hat was Coach Hill, because I would
wow.
every time I was. I don't know. I guess my high school coaches, because I did go to a football school. I went to audition. We were watching film. Like I was watching film in 7th grade. So I my understanding for the game like went on like a new level from like 12, 13 years old, because I was watching film, understanding defenses, understanding what they were trying to do to stop us and all that stuff. So I just understood the game at a different level. So when I got to college, like a lot of those kids didn't know what 12 personnel was, didn't know what 21 personnel was. They didn't know a lot of the things, like the intricate things of football, and I knew all those things. So for Coach Frank, he was like, "You just think you know it all, huh?" And I was, "You're just a know it all." So he gave me the coach hat. So I mean, I think if it's something I really wanted to do, I could possibly do it. But for right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing now.
Right.
And I really love what I'm doing. So maybe in the future, maybe, but for right now, I just love what I'm doing.
Simper wants to arm wrestle you. I have to ask you.
Look, Simper. Look, this is what this all derived from. Simper thinks Alabama. Look, that's what they call me, Stephen A. Hilly. Alabama. Thinks Alabama is losing to Cincinnati. It's not happening. So quit asking.
Quit asking.
So we got a little deal here: 200 push-ups if the Bearcats get over the tide. But it's not happening. So quit asking.
Quit asking. I know you love that more than anything else. I know you love the Master Blaster thing. I know you love the let's go.
Yeah. Here we go. There we go.
So look, you're in the NFL, right? You make this money. And once again, you know, the NIL stuff. Let me ask you this. Were you ever paid anything in college? Did you ever get it?
No, I wish that would have been amazing. I was terrified because for me, the first thing they say is you lose your eligibility. So for me, like
Right.
coming from my situation, I was like, man, like, is it worth it? Like and where I was, like, I'm like, man, is it worth it to really like do this and try to, get a little something here? Like, for me, it just wasn't worth it. I don't know if some other guys did, that's their business, but for me, like, I just wasn't. I was too terrified. I was scared. Like,
but was there a person you could call, or did anyone ever approach you? Like everyone always wants to know about the bagman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, I've heard stories. Trust me, I've heard them all. Like, I've had
Right.
teammates that went to Alabama. I've had teammates that went to some places, and
Yeah.
they have their stories. But for me, I was terrified of that. Like, I drove a beat up, like, 1999 Impala when I was in college, and I got that with my Pell Grant. So
Yeah.
I was not living the life. I was not doing like some of these kids, the shiny chains that we're seeing on all these kids. Like, I didn't have any of that stuff. Like, I was one of the kids, like, trying to figure out, like, how I'm gonna get from the next paycheck to the next paycheck. And I haven't told the story, and I will. I can tell it now since we're talking about this. I will never forget my first ever spring break in college. It was me, Odell Beckham Jr., and Kavaria Holmes, and Micah Eugene. So we're in Panama, and we're there for like 2 or 3 days, and we're having a good time. It's a great time. And then like we get to like the last like 2 days, like, hey guys, you think we should stay an extra day? And we're like, yeah, let's stay an extra day. But guess what? None of us had $1 to our name. Like, all of our accounts were in the negative. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get back to Baton Rouge, back to practice, back to workouts, back to school. And we're trying to figure out, like, we bumming dollars off people to get burgers and stuff. It was just nuts. And I'm thinking, like, dude, like, I had like almost 800 yards, touchdowns, Odell. Like, what are we doing here? But that was just my dynamic in college. And I think that's what made it all worth it. That's what kept me hungry. And that's what kept me, really, knowing what I'm signing up for, knowing what the bigger picture is. And that's, to really make my name with the college open, give myself opportunity to play in the NFL. So I wish I would have done it. I wish I would have, been driving a Range Rover like I heard John Wall was and some of these other guys.
Yeah.
That just wasn't me.
Yeah. And then Let me ask you this before I ask you about the NFL again. What was Jarvis and Odell like? Because, we know about their friendship, but they're diametrically opposite personalities the way we see it. What were those guys like behind the scenes, knowing that, Odell and Jarvis are global superstars now?
Yeah, so they were college roommates from day one. We talk about it all the time. Building 7 in WCA. Shout out West Campus Apartments on LSU's campus. We were right there. Odell was that was his roommate for like the first 2.5 years, and then he was roommates with me for a little bit after that. But him and Jarvis were like blood brothers. But I think for me, I think the word to describe their friendship was hyper competitive. Jarvis kind of getting all the love out of high school, being the 5-star receiver. Probably one of the greatest high school highlight tapes I've ever seen in my life. I know people talk about Tavon Austin, and we'll talk about this guy. Go watch Jarvis Landry's high school highlight. The dude was different. Dude's a different cat. So he got all the 5-star love that he deserved at the time. But I know for Odell, just being the kind of the skinny kid from New Orleans, like no one really knew who he was, and he was hyper competitive. He wanted to prove like he was that guy. He deserved to be, one of the premier athletes in the SEC and one of the guys who, should have been drafted in the first round of NFL. And that's exactly what he got accomplished. And those two were, they were brothers, but they were hyper competitive. I can't count how many times they, were doing this in high school, sneaking into the indoor facility, getting on the judge as high school athletes, not even on the team yet, working, trying to get better, and then just, bringing that to the college level. Just working obviously all year long. When in the summertime, when the coaches can't talk to you, can't be around you, can't tell you anything, they're in the facility working, trying to get better, trying to figure out how they can be, better. And that's the thing that I learned from them, kind of them being kind of having a year head start on me. All the work that I had to do to catch up, you're playing the catch up game because these guys are putting in work every day, and it pays fruition on Saturdays, and that's why you do it. You put all that work in so you can go out there on Saturday and make plays and really show the country who you are as a player.
Jason wants to ask about that 2012 Bama game. We touched on it a little bit earlier. Yeah, I know. I remember Met throwing that dime to Odell. It was a beautiful play action play. I was like, this is a little less offense. I like us getting a little vertical here. And then, it just the Yeldon thing happened.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. So, 2012 Alabama, I think
broke the scoreless supporter streak.
I'll have to check Clyde's numbers if I have to do it, but I'm pretty sure I may be the last running back to have 100 yards rushing on Alabama, unless TDP did it this year. But I'll have to go look at that. I held it for a long time because I know Leonard, he was buzzing for the Heisman, and that just didn't go well for him. But I think so, man. I had 100 on them. I remember shaking Kirby's hand. Go watch the TV copy. Kirby came to speak. You're a hell of a player, Kirby. Kirby came and shook my hand after the game. But that was a night, man. There's nothing you could tell me that we weren't going to beat them that day. We felt like they're coming into our house. We were playing well at the time, and I just felt like there's nothing Alabama could do, and they came out on top. We ran the ball on 3rd and 6 right before they got the ball. And then we kicked a field goal, missed the field goal, gave them a short field, and then Alabama, and the pass to Yeldon. So I'll tell people this: since Chavis is no longer our defensive coordinator, my boy Jalen Mills, shout out my boy Jalen Mills on the Patriots, still balling hard in the league. That should have been Tyrann Mathieu in that spot. So with that play, everyone goes back and has the time to watch that play. We sent the nickel blitz. The nickels blitz in that position, in that situation, they're supposed to peel to the running back and take away the screen. Jalen got a little thirsty. He wanted to get to McCarron and went after the quarterback, and there was no one to take the running back, and that's why you have a walk-in touchdown. But I think if the Badger is right there, I think he may tip that thing. He may, he may do his job, may peel with the running back. Who knows how that would have turned out after that? But missed assignment. walk-in touchdown. Alabama's champions again. We would have played Coach Kelly and Notre Dame in the championship if we win that game. Like, it's funny how this whole thing works. It's funny how this whole thing works.
Who's your best college teammate ever? And I want to throw in 2011 because you weren't suited up, but I mean all those guys on 2011 were your teammates. So like Ruben and Tyron and all those guys. Your best teammate ever is?
Oh, that's a tough one. That can mean so many things for me. But I'm gonna go a guy you probably wouldn't think I'd go. I'll go my boy James Earl Wright, the receiver.
James Wright.
Bell Chase, yeah. James Wright, man. Only for this reason. I wouldn't say only, but I think a big reason for this reason. His story's a lot to do with mine. When you're a receiver, he was playing a lot as a sophomore, getting snaps, playing obviously in a run-heavy offense with Les Miles. But you get Jarvis Landry, 5-star receiver. You get Odell Beckham, first-round talent in the NFL. They're going to get the majority of the snaps. They're going to get the majority of the plays. But to continue to come to that facility, come work, contribute to the team, whether it's special teams, whether it's all this stuff that kids don't want to hear. He did it every day. And to parlay that to an NFL career where he played 4 years in the NFL and made some money and did some stuff for himself, I think those are the stories to me that stick out more because, I mean, it's easy when the 5-star recruit, you're starting as a freshman, everything's good, you're projected first round. Like, yeah, that's easy. But when someone tells you, hey, you got to sit down, like we got this guy coming in, hey, you got to sit down, we got this younger guy coming in, and this keeps happening to you, and you still just keep grinding, you still keep doing it day in and day out, and you're not, becoming a sour apple on the team. Those are the guys that stick out to me, and that kind of reminds me of my story and myself. So James Wright, who I got an opportunity to play with in Cincinnati with as well. That's probably my best teammate, I would say.
Yeah, and as far as college is concerned, I don't think people quite understand. And you won't say this because you are a humble guy, but after that South Carolina, Jay Hill kind of became a thing, right? People could just see your greatness. Did you become kind of a celebrity? Did people start seeing you around campus, or did things get crazy? Were there any wild stories as far as that is concerned?
I would say so. I think for me, there was opportunity or situations where I felt like I did feel like, and it's something that where I always credit Coach Frank Wilson. He's called it arriving. He's like, dude, do you think you arrived? Like, you think you made it? Like, you think you arrived? And that's something that he would always ask us. And I see now as an older person, like what he was saying. And now I felt opportunities where I did maybe feel like that. Like, yeah, I'm probably one of the best backs in the SEC. Man, like, I'm probably like one of the best backs in the country. Like, yeah, that's me. But at the end of the day, like, especially now that I can really kind of have hindsight 2020 and really look at it, like, I was nothing without my teammates. I was nothing without my offensive line. I was nothing without, all the guys going out there blocking for me and giving me opportunities to have holes and giving me opportunities to get on the second level and doing all those things. Like, football is the ultimate team sport. And I know that's a cliche and I know people hear it all the time, but there's not one guy on that football field. I don't care what position. If you're a kicker, guess what? Someone has to snap it. Someone has to hold it. It doesn't matter what position you play on that field. You need your teammates. So as good as you are, I can tell you a lot of times your teammates help you in those situations. So I did feel like that sometimes. I did maybe have I'm that guy. But I was kind of, in weird ways, life always kind of humbles you. I kind of got humbled, got brought back to earth, and kind of, reminded myself why I'm doing this and how I got here and just the whole journey. And it kind of brought me back to earth and let me kind of get back on my craft and of working and grinding. And that's kind of what got me to the show. And that's kind of what kept me in the show.
And you get to the NFL. What was the wildest NFL story that you may have never shared before, whether it's on field or off field?
On field or off the field? Wildest. Man.
Because I'm sure celebrities are hitting you up, man. You go to Cincy.
The wildest thing about the NFL is, and it's probably not crazy to y'all, but for me it was crazy. It's like how lax it is compared to the college level, where everything is curfew here. You guys are gonna be here, and you just get the ultimate free time that you've never seen before. Because I'm used to, you may have, I'm thinking a college athlete, you may have 3 weeks off the whole year.
Right.
Other than that, you're at the facility working out these days. NFL, you're probably working 5.5 months out the year. If you're on a bad team, you're working 5.5 months out the year, because from January all the way to April you're off, and then from June all the way to the end of July, beginning of August, you're off. And then in between, that's not even mandatory. So really, if you're a guy who wants to play it by the book and only go to mandatory stuff, you're off from January to the end of like June, and you have all that free time to yourself. So for me, like, that blew my mind. Like, man, like we're trying to win a championship, we're trying to do all this stuff, but like
Yeah.
we're just off. Like, we're not like doing anything to like build or do anything. So I think for me, just seeing the free time that kind of the NFL players had, and you can do whatever you want. Like Tom Brady was in Prague, like throwing footballs from a yacht, and we're at OTAs. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, this is what the NFL is, but it is, because it's a CBA. It's a collective bargaining agreement. They agree on these things, and it is what it is. So I think for me, that was probably the craziest thing, like seeing going from, you're never off to you're off all the time. And that kind of blew my mind.
What so Joe Mixon gets drafted, right? What goes through your mind?
Um, at first I'm like, wow. It made me look inside. It made me look like, because at the time, a lot of people don't know. I led the league in touchdowns my first 3 seasons. I think only like maybe Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith,
Right.
maybe Walter Payton, maybe like 3 other people I did that. So I'm sitting there like 30 plus touchdowns in my first 2 years. Like, I'm sure if you say, hey, we're going to draft a running back in the second round, he's going to lead the league in touchdowns after his first 2 seasons. Do you still want to draft that guy? I'm sure most teams would probably say, yeah, I'll probably do that on the second round pick. And that's exactly where I was sitting at the time. So I saw that. I'm like, wow, like, okay. But, I said, you know what? I got to do what like I always say, do what I do that got me here. I got to grind. I got to do what I got to do, and really show who I am. And I just really didn't get to do that. I was, limited in my playing time. I think I started every game, but I only got to play 2 series every game. And that was a lot for me to try to, earn a contract from another team.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on your contract year. This is my last year on my contract, and I'm playing 2 series every game. And they're telling me, hey, go out there and try to make something do. And so I'm trying to figure out, how I can, really, be one of the premier backs in NFL, which I felt like I was at for a certain amount of time. Just looking at the numbers, looking at what I was doing. My second year, the year in the league, I lead the league in touchdowns, most touchdowns in the league in my second year. Rookie, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns as a rookie, 5.3 yards a carry, all these things. So I'm feeling like, I can do this. Like, I can see, like, if I'm not, putting up these numbers, doing these things, like, this isn't like average stuff. This is, cream of the crop type stuff. So for me, I'm feeling like I can do all these things, but they felt like that was a decision they wanted to move and they wanted to do, and that's what happened. And so I ended up having ankle surgery probably like week 9, week 10, and kind of hanging the season up, and putting my efforts towards the next season. And it was tough, man. It was tough. I think for me, it's crazy. I hear with relationships, they always say you lose them how you get them. And I feel like that was the exact thing that happened to me, because there's a guy who played for Ole Miss, my boy Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis.
Yeah.
He was actually on the team when I got drafted to the team, and he actually had a 1,000-yard season probably a year before that. So for NFL backs, that's nothing to scoff over. Like 1,000 yards in the NFL, like you're putting on yourself a list with a lot of talented people. And so he had that under his belt, and then they draft me, and then they end up cutting him right after. So it's like it kind of came full circle for me. I didn't get cut, but my contract was over, and they kind of moved forward with him. So I kind of just saw how that's just sometimes how the business works. So for me, I just kind of scoffed it up to that. I got an opportunity to go to play with New England, the Bengals, who I love the Bengals, love my guys, love Joey B, I love my boy, Chase. They're doing great things, but
Yeah.
they haven't won a playoff game since the '80s. So I got a chance to go to a team who arguably has the best coach of all time, best quarterback of all time, best tight end of all time, and go, play on that offense. I feel like that was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I had to move elsewhere and kind of, further my career that way.
Frank Wilson gets hired back at LSU. What goes through your mind?
Pumped. I was pumped. I was so excited. I still remember like yesterday, I was a young ninth grader in the ninth grade, and Frank Wilson was at Tennessee. I still remember spring football. He came to our school. He had the Tennessee like little fleece on, like the little zip up. I'm like, okay, Tennessee. Okay, here we go. So I got my first offers from Division I programs when I was in eighth grade, actually. I got my first offer from Tennessee, and then I got my first offer from Colorado, and I was in eighth grade, and that just kind of blew my mind. It kind of opened my eyes up, and I was like, man, like this is a real thing. Like I could actually like go play college football and like actually make this a thing. And
Right.
That next year, Coach Frank came into town, and we just started talking to me. And it's like, give me his roots, give me all the guys he recruited, just talking to me, just trying to get me to Tennessee, and I say it all the time, like, dude, I was really about to, go to Tennessee. Like Tennessee? Like, this is what we're doing? Like, but that's all credit to Frank Wilson and his job as a recruiter and just really making you feel, at home and really, allowing you to trust him and really feel like you're a family. And I was pumped because I know the potential. I know what he can bring to a program, and I was just ecstatic when I heard that Coach Kelly hired him.
And then Corey Raymond leaves, and you're around Corey as well. I mean, I'm sure that was emotional for you.
Man, I have a great relationship with Coach Raymond. I got a lot of opportunities, especially when I started doing radio stuff, to just have dinners with him, just be around him,
Interesting.
coach him off the field and do all those things. And it was tough, man, because I know what he brings to the table. I know all the defensive backs he's coached. I know, just one of the premier defensive back coaches in the country. To lose a guy like that, it's tough, but I know it was done for a reason. I know Coach Kelly felt, if he did want to bring him back, it was for a reason. You got to trust him. A coach doesn't become the all-time winningest coach at a school like Notre Dame with the history that they have there without doing things the right way. So for me, I said it's a tough loss, but I trust Coach Kelly, and I trust that he's going to find a guy that can, not do a better job, but do as good of a job as Coach Raymond.
What do you think of Brian Kelly?
What I think of him, I think he's an attention to detail guy. I think he understands what it takes to run things the right way at the college level, and just doing the amount of winning at every level that he's done. Just look at his track record everywhere he's been. You don't accomplish those things without being attention to detail, without doing things the right way. And I think that's exactly who he is as a coach. I know a lot of people are going to get tied up in the personality, the Walker Howard video, the fake accent, all this stuff. But to me, I think none of that stuff matters. I mean, we had a head coach that was eating grass. So you can pretty much do what you want to do. As long as you win football games, people are going to get behind you. So I think for Coach Kelly, I think that's going to be his first order of business, start winning for the Tigers. But to get to there, he understands the process. And I think for me, process-oriented people, they perform. And I think that's what Coach Kelly's going to be.
What do you remember about playing for Les Miles?
Les Miles, the Mad Hatter. I remember guys just being I guess the best way to put it is having that sensation of being let out of a cage on game day, like you're being unleashed. No, I'm being so serious. Like you felt like you're being unleashed on game days, because you just ran such a tight ship, like everything. Excuse. No visor, no tape, no spat on your cleats, no wristbands, like super strict about everything, and just very like kicking guys off the team left and right. Like it was a strict ship, but when you got that opportunity to go out there on game day, you better make the most of it because, you got 3 hours to show the world who you are and what you can be as a player. So for us, like, we felt that, like, it was hard summer workouts with Coach Moffitt, and this was all done through the leadership of Coach Miles. Fourth quarter programs are waking up at 5:30 in the morning, go and do these stringent workouts, and then on top of that, have your schedule with school and study hall and all that stuff on top of it. So nothing was easy. So when you did get those opportunities to go out there on game day and really show the world who you were, like I said, it was like you're being unleashed out of a cage, and you really get to really go to show the reason why you came to LSU.
As far as this team moving forward, I mean, look, you go through film sessions. What was the thing that you saw last year that infuriated you the most?
Infuriated me. I would say the beginning part of the season, the repetitiveness on defense,
Right.
The lack of, being innovative. That really infuriated me. And I think for offense, and I think me and Hunt talked about this.
Yeah.
Did you scratch every itch? And I think for an offensive coordinator, you get paid a lot of money to figure out how to put these kids in position to make plays. And I feel like the guys weren't getting opportunities to make plays, and it looked very stale. And I think you saw the frustration on Max's face, especially the Auburn game, when you can't get plays in out of a special teams play and out of a timeout and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, y'all have all week, all year. You guys are prepared for months to do this, and it looks like this. This is LSU we're talking about here. This is not, Appalachian State, or, this is not, one of these other schools. This is LSU. You have 3 national championships in the last 20 years. Like,
right.
This is the product you're putting out on the field. So for me, I guess that was the most disappointing part of me, because I still feel, and as we saw through the latter half of the season, when you beat a Texas 8-4, and you go, one possession game with Alabama, and you beat Florida, and you do some of this stuff with the roster we have, just injury ravaged roster, it lets you see, like, man, I wonder what could happen if someone really was, running the most optimal plays for these players, putting them in the best position to make plays. I wonder if the ceiling for this team, like, we're sitting at 6-6. Like, this is what LSU's become. I think for me, that was the most frustrating thing.
Danielle asked, did Les Miles have repetitive play calling as well?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did he? Look, I tell people this all the time. Like, Alabama, yes, they had their run against us. But look, everyone has YouTube. Everyone can get on the internet. It's free. Go watch the plays we've ran against Alabama during the Les Miles era, and tell me how much difference you see. It's literally like we tried it out there with the same game plan every single year. And that's the thing that just blows my mind. And I think for me, which is why people have to tip their cap to Coach Saban, is he came from, these spread offenses are killing college football. What are we doing with these spread offenses? It's terrible. And then next thing you know, it's running the spread and hurry up.
Right.
So this is how it goes.
All right. Well, we'll get as many more of these questions. We're so thankful for your time. We know we got some garlic parm wings. Have you already taken care of business?
Oh no, I haven't taken care of business yet. I gotta sauce them up, baby. Gotta sauce those things up and get them. Hey, I'm a ranch guy. I know there's some blue cheese people.
Oh, you're a ranch guy?
You're a ranch, baby. We gotta go some ranch.
God.
I do blue cheese every blue moon, depending on what I'm working with. But for the most part, I'm a ranch guy.
Well, it's funny. Patrick Queen, one of my favorite Tigers, said blue cheese over ranch all day. Did you see that?
Oh, man. Look, I saw my boy Matthew Judon from the Patriots saying no macaroni and cheese. That was dude, what are we doing, Matthew?
Society, man. We've run amok. That's part of it. Let's. What are some of the things you like to do that's not like football related?
I love to fish. I'm blessed to have a lake behind my house, so I do a lot of fish. A lot of largemouth bass, little catfish, little brim. I like to fish. I like to game a little bit here. I play a little Madden here and there, a little 2K, a little Call of Duty.
Right.
Just everyday stuff, man. I think for me, I've been trying to, get my feet wet in this media world, so I've been doing that for the most part. But I think for me, I like to get out a little bit. I'm a tequila guy. If anyone needs to know, you want to drop a gift off to me, mail it to 929 Government Street. Send some tequila to your boy. I'm a tequila guy, no matter where it's from, the level, top grade, top shelf, bottom shelf. Tequila, baby. That's what we're drinking here all the time. Got me a nice little margarita here.
There you go. So what's your social life like?
Social life. I used to, be able to get around and stuff. I did a couple off seasons in LA, Scottsdale, I did all that stuff, but I'm back in the Baton Rouge area now, so not doing too much getting out. There's not much going on out here, so I pretty much, I'm a little homebody, I would say, right now these days.
Right.
Kind of just chilling at the house with the dogs. I got 2 dogs. They're downstairs. They're real rowdy, so
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time with them. I got a Rottweiler and a pit bull, so they take a lot of my time.
So no dating.
Oh, I have a girlfriend.
Oh, really? There you go. And did you meet her back in Baton Rouge or?
Yeah, she's from Baton Rouge. We actually dated a while ago, and then I went off to be in Ohio and Boston and all that stuff, and we kind of separated a little bit. Then when I came back home, we kind of linked back up, and we're still rolling. So yeah,
good. There you go. And this is what's always interesting to me is there's groupies out there, right? Did that exist in the NFL?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think for us, it's like and it's weird for me. Like I'm just a kid from Baton Rouge. I'm just, I got a older brother, I got a younger sister. So for me, like I never look at myself like, oh, that's Jeremy Hill, the LSU running back. It's just me. So a lot of times you can be gullible or you can be naive to certain stuff that's going on out there, and you think everyone has your best interests, and no one looks at you as this, entity or whatever. But yeah, that's definitely the case. I kind of had my lessons in that regard, but I think for me, as you get older, you kind of know just what type of people are loyal and what type of people stand up, and you try to just surround yourself with those people.
Because that's the thing. I've had friends that have played not only in the league but just professional sports, and stuff like that can rip them down. It's a scary thing, and it may not be women. It may be drugs. It may be whatever it may be. Does that sadden you? Because I'm sure you've had friends and teammates that have gone down that path.
Oh yeah, man. I've had it all, man. And I think for athletes, I think a lot of times it's easy for people who aren't in that circle and aren't in that world to point the finger and say, "Hey, you're getting paid all this, or you're doing this. You get this opportunity. If I had that opportunity, I would do this and that with it." But it's not that easy. Everyone comes from a different walk of life. Everyone has different backgrounds. Everyone has different childhood trauma, and so when they get put in these situations, they don't handle it the same way as you think you would, or some other people would. Some people, they have certain obstacles come in their life, and it's really heartbreaking. It's really gut wrenching. So I try to be as understanding as I can, because I've seen guys who are, they're making millions of dollars, but they're depressed and they don't know what's next for them, and they have all the money in the world, but they're abusing drugs, or they're they're in their house all day and they're not having a social life, and those are all things that come from playing a game, and it's a very physical, violent game, and sometimes on the other side of it, it's not sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's grim, and it's really grim. And I really just give my heart to those guys, because I know it's definitely more positivity out there for them to have, but they gotta seek it.
A few more for you. The Outback Bowl. What do you remember?
A lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. I know one thing. I'll note this. I had enough Outback in that week that I never had Outback again. And it's been what? We're talking 9 years, 10 years here? Like I was Outback. I was what's the onions called? Blooming onions.
The blooming onions.
Yeah, I was so blooming onion out. Like, oh my God. Like I was Outbacked out for a lifetime. So, but memories from that game. Still got the trophy. It's downstairs. Outback Bowl MVP. My boy Met, man. My boy Met. Met got hurt against Arkansas. We were going in that game without our starting quarterback. But anyone who's watched Les Miles before, we're gonna run that ball, baby. And so I knew going into that game, we're going to do a lot of running the ball. And I started off hot that first series. I think I may have ripped off like maybe 40 or 50 yards the first series. So I knew like we had an opportunity that day. My boy Bill, shout out my boy Bilbo Baggins, man. Well, he's in that Hunting Hill chat every day.
He's awesome in there.
But I knew we were cooking with something good because for me, like you go against Alabama, you don't just rip off 20 yards here, 15 there, like 20 here. Like wait, like you'd be like, what is going on? This isn't Alabama, but we were ripping some runs off early on in that game, and I was like, we could be working with something here. And fourth quarter comes around, last drive of the game. I'm trying to put the nail on the game and score the game, separating touchdown to kind of put it away. And I look up, I'm at 216 yards rushing in that game. I think that was the best I ever did. So I always remember that game because it was my last game playing for the Tigers, last time getting able to suit up for the Tigers. And it was probably my best game as a college athlete. So I definitely remember that.
Did you think about coming back or what?
So, inside scoop. So, no, this is Power Hour inside scoop here. So, I actually called everybody. Trey Turner, Odell, Jarvis, everybody. Nobody was coming back. I was trying to come back. I was trying my hardest to come back. I wanted to come back. I wanted to come back one more year. I tried. I called everybody. No one wanted to do it. Everyone wanted to go to graded pastures, and that's what I was probably the last one to put the nail in the coffin. But I was trying, man. I was really trying. I was calling everybody. I was like, look, man, let's go win a ship. Like that really hurt me. Like we couldn't get it done. Especially I think for me, like losing to Ole Miss, Hugh Freeze, Bo Wallace. What are we doing? We losing. That's when I know it's like, all right, this is out the cards now. But I wanted to run it back, man. I wanted to give it another shot, but I knew it was going to be an uphill battle if I didn't have my guys with me. If everyone came back, I would have definitely jumped on board and came back, but nobody was with it. Nobody wanted to come back, so I was like, you know what? I don't know how I feel about this. No Matt, who's over there, quarterback. It's going to be Brandon Jennings. Not Brandon Jennings. His name was I'm screwing his name up already.
Anthony Jennings.
Anthony Jennings, yeah.
So modern era. Okay, so 2003 championship era. Jeremy Hill is the blanked best running back in the modern era of LSU football.
So you're excluding Billy Cannon.
Yeah. So 2003 on. So we're talking Justin Vincent until now. Jeremy Hill is
I think you gotta go top 5. You gotta go top 5.
Okay, and so you say you're comfortable in the top 5.
Yeah, top 5. As long as I'm in your top 5, we'll have no quarrels.
Who's your number 1?
See, I'm weird. I hold my like tiers because like this is a weird way to do lists, but this is the way I always do all my lists, whether it's golf, basketball, whatever. Who would I rather have and who would I be comfortable with you having it like fantasy draft wise? Like I got this guy and like there's one running back I wish like I got him. I'm going Leonard Fournette. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you're going Bugger.
I gotta go Booga Nation, baby. I gotta go Leonard, man. That Auburn game, like if you are an alien from outer space and your first Earth experience was Death Valley when LSU was playing Auburn, I think it was 2016. That was good.
KO from Opelousas is showing you some love. Shout out Mama's Fried Chicken. I love it, man. OP says, yeah, you got to get down with that, man. Top 5 of all time in LSU history.
That's aggressive.
That's aggressive, man. You're sitting in front of me, and we're friends. I don't have any other running back's number in my phone except yours. You're the. I still think that's like to cement top 5 in LSU history. KO, you got a fan here, Jeremy.
That's a lot to swallow right there. I don't know about that's a little rich from my blood, but I like that though. I like it.
Oh man,
get on with that. I also do think too. I think if I do, that's why I kind of did want to come back that third year. I think I would have been more solidified in that regard if I
Right.
did have a third season. So my stats are a little, because these guys like Kevin Fogg, he got 4 years on me. Like,
Yeah, of course.
no, you project out 6.9 yards a carry, SEC record. Like, it's not nothing, nothing to scoff at, I would say.
It's not.
You go 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns in a season. It's not too bad, not too shabby.
Hilliard, Fournette, Guy, C. Scott. That's not bad. You know what's interesting? People sleep on Ridley a little.
I was just about to say that. I go Ridley, over Scott. That's just me. Because that Tennessee game, I was there. I was this close from walking out as a recruit. I'm like, we're freaking losing to Dooley, Derek. We're losing to Dooley. And then we pull it out. We pull it out. My boy T-Bob. Shout out T-Bob Abear. T-Bob Abear. Snapped it over Jordan's head.
You want to know? You want to know something really fascinating, Jeremy? And you could probably speak to this way better than I can. Okay, so T-Bob gets a lot of the glory for that play, and he should, right? Because we lose if he doesn't make the heads-up play to just snap it. And T-Bob everywhere he goes, he's going to get asked about that play, right? But what's very interesting was I interviewed Joseph Barksdale, and I was on the goal line. I was standing on the goal line for that one, and the most shocking thing in that play happened. It was so loud in there that Barksdale didn't even fire off the ball. If you go back and watch, so Ridley should have been stopped. He made a linebacker miss. And the one thing I liked about Ridley and Hester is they were probably the best short yardage backs because somehow, some way, they always fell forward. I don't know how they did it. They just did it. What was the key? What do you think the key is to always fall forward like they did?
I think it's want to. I think it's want to. Obviously, all the work you do in the off season on your body, your leg strength, squats, all that stuff, it matters. But I think want to, because all it is separating one college kid from another college kid from getting over the line or stopping you at the line. And I think for Hester and for Ridley, it was you weren't stopping me. My will, my want to, it's gonna overpower anything that's on this field right now. And that's what I said. That's why I always have respect for Hester. That's where I remember at that game being a young kid from Baton Rouge watching LSU battle with Florida and watching him time and time again just continue to battle one of the best defenses in the country. You go look at all the NFL players that came from that defense that year on that Florida team. It's a lot of dudes, man. It's a lot of talent over there. And guess what? Nothing they can do to stop it. There's nothing y'all can do. We're coming right at you. Everyone in the stadium, everyone in the country, everyone on the broadcast, everyone on the radio, they all know what's coming, but you got to stop it. And they couldn't. And that goes to me. Obviously, the offensive line had a huge role playing that, but those backs, what separated them is their will and their want to get those yards. And when everybody knew in the stadium it was coming, but you still found a way to get it.
Well, we know you're hungry. You want to get those garlic parm wings, baby. Let's go. I should just drive all the way to BR right now and get into these garlic parms, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's interesting? All right. And I want to brag on you for a little bit. All right. There's so many players, LSU players, that get really good at media, right? So obviously, Swagu's up there, right? He's a beast. I've interviewed Swagu. It's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. Right. And then, of course, you have all these other great ones. Ryan Clark, obviously, and then Peter Burns. He didn't play, but, he's great. Jacob Hester, T-Bob, and all those guys. That's tough, Jay Hill. I mean, you've been awesome at it, man. I'm sure there's some extra pressure knowing all these other guys have been good.
Wait, you just broke up like crazy. Say that question one more time. All I heard was Swagu, Hester, and something else in your break.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Your media career. Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me anymore. Let me see.
Yeah, this is breaking up. Let me turn my mic off. Maybe that may help.
Yeah, go on.
All right. Yeah, try to say something else one more time.
Yeah, can you hear me now? I'm sorry. I'm having. I don't know what happened. All right, we're going to end it here. Go on ahead and enjoy your garlic parm wings, Jay Hill. We appreciate you coming on, my friend. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I know. I wanted him. That was going to be the final question. So let me see if I can get him in. I wanted to see what he had to say about that. But yeah, let me see if I can get him back on here. Let me see. Your favorite LSU RB? Let's see. Should have gone to premium internet. You there, JL?
All right, we're back. I think.
Yeah, no, that's my bad, man. I wanted to leave you with this.
Okay, yeah, we're back. We're back, people.
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. I bet you it's a lot of pressure seeing all those guys just ball out like that in the media world. You're really good at it. Like that was, when I first came on your show, Mario asked me, and shout out to Mario. He was a big reason why, we were able to link up. And I want everyone to know this is that you and I did not have I don't think I ever interviewed you when I was doing media stuff there. I interviewed Joseph Barksdale a lot, obviously T-Bob. I had a really good relationship with Patrick Peterson. He's such an interesting guy. PP7, that's one of my guys to get him on here. He's
PP7. I hate to cut you off, but I've been knowing PP7 since I was actually a sophomore in high school. His little brother went to Redemptorist, so Avery Johnson, aka Avery Peterson, who was at LSU for a little bit as a receiver, he went to Redemptorist as a freshman in high school. So I was always around Patrick Peterson. His roommate was Jordan Jefferson, so I got to meet Jets when he was a little prodigy, a little baby. And all them, so it's just like a huge family. So I've been knowing all of them. It's like since yesterday. Feels like it's funny how small the football world is.
Yeah, and I never got to and I had a few of our diehards message me, and you were just in the chat, and I was like, no, I just think he just kind of found me on YouTube. I don't think he really. We did not know each other. I knew a lot of players on the team. Ron Brooks was probably the funniest guy I knew. He was quiet, but we were good friends then. But I really do appreciate you, Jeremy, for coming on tonight. We really do appreciate it. And I want to let you get to say anything you want to say, because I know you've been in chat and you shared a few things and people really enjoyed it. Is there anything you'd like to let everyone know before we let you out of here?
Look, in a perfect world, I would love to become a mod of the chat so people can know it's me. Just put a little blue next to my name. Look, so all the people think it's not an imposter. I'll be in the chat. I'm a huge fan of Carter. Just so you guys know, look, as much as you guys may be a fan of me, fan of Odell, fan of whatever football issue related you want to be a fan of, I'm a fan of Carter. I love his work. I love his dedication. I love his grind. I love how he watches film. I love how he respects the players. He doesn't disrespect his name calls, do all these things I see a lot of these people do in the media world. But I love the way Carter does things. So, guys, it's me in the chat. It's me. I'm here. I'll be around, and I love you guys.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, Jay Hill. Once again, I'll let you say it, Jeremy. The winner of our sports card tonight was who?
The Master Blaster.
The Master Blaster. So, what's very interesting, Jeremy, are you familiar with Van Lathan?
Yeah, isn't that TMZ Van Lathan?
TMZ Van Lathan, man. Van, along with King Robert, our top super chatters. Jared was also very generous. Trey, obviously, Cliff, who just said Catholic High is better than Redemptorist. I'll let you.
Can we have a band? Can we just
ban?
No.
Right. Well, here's
it's only a jamboree. We never got to really battle those guys in a 4-quarter game. We only got 2 quarters, and they always just felt they were just dude. You guys are like got 205 people on your sideline. Little 3-8 pool in Baton Rouge. Like, come on, what are we doing?
So what's funny was my dad is also a Catholic High grad. He was the one that donated the Jeremy Hill jersey. He's always been a big fan of yours, Jay Hill. So yeah, the Master Blaster, you are the winner of the sports card. So I appreciate all our super chatters tonight. And crap, there was something else that I wanted to bring up, but I'm an idiot. So yeah, man, I can't wait to actually meet you in person. You know, it's kind of strange, right? What a lot of people don't get is in the media industry, most of the people you talk to, you never get to meet.
Yeah.
Right.
Trust me, I tell this to Hunt all the time. We have interviewed so many people. I guarantee you, it's probably less than 20% of people I've actually met in person. Literally just messaging people on Twitter. You know, something happens in the Notre Dame world, or something happens here, or something happens there. You got to interview that person. It meets, you know, what the talk of the day is. And honestly, you probably sometimes you never talk to them again, or sometimes you've never met that person. So I think for me, it's just, I think it's a pleasure always, because you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, and really you're showing me the ropes of how this thing should be done. So I'm taking so much from you in so many regards. So I really am blessed and pleasure to even have met you and really, you know, get the opportunity to come on this platform.
Yeah. So next Thursday, Van Lathan will be our guest, and he is a beast. I mean, it's crazy. So we're really excited about that. Jay Hill, you were the perfect first guest, and I'll let you. Do you have a let's go for us? Do you have a let's go?
Hold on, I'm gonna build it up. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Make sure you check out Jeremy. Let people know about Hunting Hills so they can go support you, man.
Hey, look, you guys tune in to Hunting Hill. If you're in the Baton Rouge area, it's on 104.5 ESPN every day from 12 to 2. If not, you can check us out on YouTube. We're posting every day. You can check us out live, getting that Bayou 4 chat every day on YouTube. All you got to go is to the ESPN 104.5 channel and find Hunting Hill, and we'll be right there. You can tune us in every day, 12 to 2, baby.
I got to shout out Hunt, man. I remember the Bayou Bengal Insider days, Hunt. That's way he. People think he just got the pregame show out of nowhere. No, I mean, you got to really work to get to that level. So shout out to Hunt and Jay Hill. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Appreciate it, man. It's been an honor to come on this platform. Look, I love the people in the chat. I'll be back, and it'll be me. You'll see the little LSU helmet. That's me in the chat, people. Just know. I'll probably be trolling sometimes, but hey, don't quit asking.
Quit asking. So quit asking. All right, Jay, we'll talk soon, man.
All right, brother. Pleasure.
See you. Guys, thank you so much for making this the first great interview. That's awesome. Yeah, it was really cool. I really do mean it. I never met Jay Hill before today. I know a lot of you have questions about Kendrick Law. We'll cross that mountain when we actually get there. Okay, so hopefully he signs. Maybe Jay Hill had some words of wisdom for K Law. I know a lot of the North Louisiana viewers on this channel want K Law to be a part of this class. He could play right away, knowing how things works itself out. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Once again, go support their show. Support Mario and all those guys. 104.5. They're awesome. It's just a great station. They've won a lot of local awards, and I still do some terrestrial radio. They do it right, and it's not just me. You can read about them on whatever. Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was a great guest. Once again, if you're not familiar with Van Lathan, next week you'll get to learn all about what he's been able to accomplish. And the funniest thing about Van Lathan is there is nothing more this man loves than LSU football. And you're going to really enjoy it. All right. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay. We might get a video done tomorrow. We'll see what Kendrick Law ends up doing. Hopefully he signs. Also, don't forget Denver Harris also, I think, signs tomorrow, and he's going to announce on Saturday. Once again, that's kind of a long shot. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best. Once again, Jeremy shared a lot of insights. This full interview will be available for you to watch after this stream is over. All you got to do is go to, and here Kendrick Law is waiting to see on our player saving. Okay, I got you. Yeah, moving up. Pretty cool stuff, man. So I'm still here, Jared. Still here. Definitely the coolest thing we've done on this channel. You guys have been around for a while. It's some really cool stuff. That Jay Hill just watches, right? This guy has accomplished everything you could accomplish as an LSU football player and an NFL football player, and it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, should be a lot of fun. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Hey, did the pork chops. Let's get to it. Let's go.